Hey guys, what is going on? This is TheSpartan, and I'll be presenting another Battle Nation strategy video. The last one was about how unit resistances and how you can use units to have resistances to certain elements to make battles easier. So today we'll be doing the opposite, and that'll be using unit resistances against the enemies. And this is a good setup, hopefully. No, not really. Maybe I can find a good rebel setup somewhere around here. Alright, this is a good one. Now, let me just check something real fast. As you see, the L7 Hurricane, I think, L60 Hawker Hurricane, takes extra damage from crushing and piercing damage. And so that's the kind of damage that you want to use against this unit. 90% of the time, most of the time, unless Z2 changes something, when you're fighting rebels, they will have exactly the same stats as your units. Most of the time. You never know what Z2 pulls off. So as you see, the Hurricane takes extra crushing damage. So what you want to do is use a unit that deals crushing damage, such as my melee, and piercing damage, such as my phalanx, but put this away for now. But other units also deal this kind of damage to flying things. The Treb, for example, I think. Where's my Treb? Right here. Treb, crushing damage, works against this plane. What else? I can't think of many examples right now. Back when these things were useful. Piercing damage. Oh, explosive? Okay. Never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry. Tanks, piercing damage from the machine guns. That works. Even though you probably want to use something a bit stronger, so. Yeah. Railgun sniper. Piercing damage with 100% armor piercing, so this is even better. It completely ignores the armor and will most likely one-shot all planes at a certain rank. And yeah, that's about all things that I can think of. So let me show you how these. So let's see how these work. You also want to pay a ton of attention to the offense. The higher the offense, the better chance of your unit actually dealing damage instead of some kind of deflection or something like that. You don't want deflections, so low offense attacks will get deflected a lot, which is why you don't see me using low rank tanks at all. So I'm just gonna put this to speed things up just in case. But yeah, as you see, crushing damage is not exactly effective against these tanks. If you see, the crit only dealt 100 and, well, yeah, it was a crit and only dealt 100 something damage. The non-crit dealt 100, when the original damage of this is 192 to 288. So, but as you can see, it dealt some really good damage to the flying Hurricane. I really can't talk today, sorry. So, crushing damage is more useful on single soldiers such as this one, where you can just kill them right off the bat, as most units don't have resistance to that. Now, what works against tanks? Well, let's see. Tanks, they really don't have any resistance to cold or explosive damage, so that's the kind of damage you want to use against them. Now my tank is frozen. As you see, this works a lot better than this. Armor piercing is another important thing to keep track of. And as you see, boom. Now I just have this thing left. Now, its resistance is to explosive damage, so what happens when I hit it with explosive damage? It deals less damage. It minimizes the damage dealt. Back when I used. Now I'll switch back to crushing damage. Full damage with a crit. So, most vehicles will have a resistance to. A lot of vehicles, tanks specifically, have a resistance to crushing damage. A lot of planes take extra damage from crushing. So, I'm really getting good with these crits. Anyway, explosive damage is mostly effective against everything. As you can see here, certain units do tend to have a really good resistance though, such as the Elemental Trooper. But other than that, unless you can get lucky with a dodge, explosive damage is really good, unless it's against these certain units. Wow, that dodge. Anyway, there really isn't much to discuss this episode. It's just a really quick video showing how, if you use the right damage types, you can practically win most battles. Another good strategy is stun locking your enemies, such as by constantly freezing them with the elemental troopers, or well, you used to be able to use boom buses. Those were nerfed to oblivion, or no longer useful at all, but it still works. Things such as the melee still stun things. So, yeah, I hope you guys find this useful. This is TheSpartan, and goodbye.